In 3, 2, 1. The Angry Chicken Hearthstone podcast is produced by amove.tv. Check out amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. For more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. And to find many more podcasts with Ridiculous Hat, follow @RidiculousHat on Twitter. Every episode of Tech is made possible thanks to our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot.
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken!
Greetings and welcome back. This is indeed TAC. I'm Garrett. She's Joce. He's Hat of the ridiculous variety. It's episode 469. Make your nice jokes plus 400. Just add 400 to nice. You've got this episode.
I get it.
Yeah, you do. You do.
I was like, oh, do people call us nice? Wait, are they joking about calling us nice? Oh, 69. Nice. Literally my thought process.
I mean, I'm sure somebody out there thinks we're nice.
Well, maybe.
Possibly.
I think they think I'm nice.
Which is funny. You've never seen Joce like going hard.
I mean, it's possible to be firm but nice. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Josh, were you laughing at firm? Were you laughing at firm? Is that what you were doing?
That's what I say.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I say when I pick out my produce at the grocery store. I go firm but nice. And then it goes in the bag.
People not stand near you at the grocery store anymore? They just keep their distance. And this weird guy that's talking to his summer squashes or whatever it is that you're buying.
I was going to say there's some eggplant joke in here somewhere.
Listen, my goal in life is to make sure that people in public stay as far away from me as possible.
In public or Publix?
Yes. Where shopping is a pleasure unless it's a pandemic.
Or you're near Garrett.
I am not going to get drug into a story about how I got the new guy who made my sandwich the other day, and I never knew you could take 20 minutes to make a sub. But I had that experience. This episode, not brought to you by Publix, and probably won't be after that little story. It is, however, brought to you by lovely patrons. Support us over at patreon.com/TAC. We really appreciate the support, everybody. And Roman Paul, you are our latest patron. Thank you so much for signing up between last episode and this episode. Also, shout out to our patron Carl, because Carl upped their pledge. Thank you, Carl. I frequently say we don't ask you to up your pledge, but sometimes you do. So now I'm going to say, I'm going to try something different. Steve, you should up your pledge. Steve? It's not often we tell people we should up their pledge.
Maybe Steve's got stuff going on, Garrett. You don't know.
Listen. There's multiple Steves. So the Steve that doesn't have something going on, just saying. I'm just going to try something new. It's a bold strategy. I know. Just see if it works out. I'm not saying you got to go nuts, 25 cents, 50 cents, whatever works for you. Laugh so hard if someone named Steve ups your pledge.
Steve,
I was wondering if this
no
was...
pressure, okay, bud? It's okay. We understand. Poor Steve.
Was this educated? Are there a bunch of Steves and you're being ambiguous on purpose, or is this just a shot in the dark?
If I'm being honest, it was probably the first name that popped in my head. I have a good buddy named Steve. He just recently found out he's having a little girl. Congratulations to my good buddy Steve, who does not listen to the show. However, he is a doctor now, and one of his fellow doctors does listen to the show. because he had a very
Well, Doctor who's friends with Dr. Steve, tell Steve to get his shit together and pledge to the Angry Chicken whether he listens or not. He's Garrett's friend. Come on, support your friends. You're a doctor.
Yeah, actually was his superior during his residency, which I loved hearing this story because I don't know how it came up, but he's like, wait, you know Garrett Weinzierl? He's like, I listen to him every week on this show called The Angry Chicken. And Steve's like, wait, you know my friend from preschool? This is a real story. I'm not doing a bit.
What's it like being famous in the weirdest way possible?
I describe it as specifically famous. Because
that's an interesting way. I've never thought of that, but you're
Good
right.
phrase. Yeah.
Because I've been in multiple situations now where Katie tries to describe what I do to like a coworker or a new friend, and then she usually ends it with like jokingly saying he's internet famous, and I go no, I'm very specifically famous, very specific, because outside of BlizzCon no one recognizes me. This came up
Which is very nice, I will say.
Yeah, and even in BlizzCon, you know, that's 30,000 people, and you know, maybe every once in a while I get stopped by someone who's like, "Hey, Garrett, like what you do," and it's never not awesome. Like that's super cool, and now it hasn't happened in a very long time because we haven't been to conventions because there haven't been conventions to go to.
Someone recognized my voice from a Dead by Daylight Twitch VOD.
Nice.
They were like, "Hey, I listen to shows with her."
Now that we're completely off the beaten path about getting recognized at
totally.
places, I have a question. Do you remember when we met Ben Brode's brother
Yes.
and how he found us?
Very much so.
Because if you have
Wait,
not...
I definitely don't know this story. I want to know this
Okay,
story.
So Will Brode, lovely man, actually casted one of our tournaments in the past with us. Is a real person. We're not making this up. Ben Brode has a brother. It was you, me, and Katie, and we were sitting out back of the Hilton eating Baja Fresh from the Hilton mini mall food court thing that they have. And we were having a loud conversation about Hearthstone or something, and you laughed, and this stranger in the distance goes, "Are you Jocelyn from the Angry Chicken?" Recognizing your laugh.
Which apparently Daniel Negreanu, when he was on the show, also said that he could pick my laugh out of a crowded airport. I don't know why it's so like.
Oh my god, I remember that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
Distinctive.
if you can remember, like in the moment, I remember thinking, "Does Ben Brode really have a brother? And are you really his brother?" Because this seems too insane. Otherwise,
Right, and what an in, right, with anyone that you know is into Hearthstone. Oh yeah, I'm Ben Brode's brother. Totes. Yeah, hi. Hang out with me.
yeah. So that's the story. I've only been recognized by my voice once, and it was in line for a hot dog at BlizzCon. That was it. And
So I'm going to go back to my earlier question to both of you now. What's it like being famous in the weirdest way possible?
weird and awesome. Weird and awesome. At the same time, it's like having a bunch of friends you don't know you have yet, because you get along. You get along, and you get along quickly.
Yeah, you're standing next to someone and you both like Hearthstone and hot dogs, so like that's just a friend. That's what that is.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we have to do a hot dog podcast now.
I wouldn't call myself
There
a
are
hot
enough
dog
people that talk
enthusiast,
about
but
sandwiches on the internet.
That's fair. That's fair, and we get asked about them a lot.
We're gonna get emails about that comment.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Listen, I'm kind of over that Mimi question. I'm gonna be a grump right now. I'm done with it. Like technically, yes. If you gave me one and I asked for a sandwich, I'd be mad. Well, I don't know how mad I'd be. I'd probably be hungry, so I'd probably
And then you
eat
just
it.
have a hot dog and you'd be like, all right, well, this is food.
I guess this
thumbs
is
up.
happening. I guess that was it. Joey Image in the
we're
chat
gonna
room said he was recognized once by a voice. Well, yeah, you were on Grumpy Cast. That makes sense. Anyways, I hope
We
everybody
are
enjoyed that.
somewhat far down the digression rabbit hole.
Yes.
We are.
And you know
we
who
talk
pays
about-
for this?
Steve?
Steve, you better. This is content.
What would be even funnier is if in the next few days I read an exit survey from somebody named Steve. It doesn't put your name on it.
Bullied by hosts.
Yeah. It doesn't put your name on it. But, if only one person leaves on a certain day and there's a dated exit survey for a day, it's not too hard to put two and two together. Most times the show opens like this when we don't have much to talk about. But that would just be a massive lie this week.
Good news, everyone!
We got a patch that has upended most of Hearthstone.
At least the two parts we really care about.
Well, unless you're a survey from Dexter, which is, omitting the second, arguably most popular mode in the game.
Wait, what? I did not see this. What was this survey?
Did you not see?
No.
Did you not see
Okay.
Slissa raking Dexter over the coals for putting out a survey about what mode do you like the most, and Battlegrounds wasn't one of them?
Oh,
Because
really?
I looked at it and I'm
Okay.
like, 3 of these
Hold
aren't
on a
even
second.
modes.
Hold on a second. He said, what Hearthstone mode do you like the
Mm.
most? Which means cards and decks.
According to the creator of the poll, but yeah, because it's so Battlegrounds exists in such a weird space in Hearthstone, because like the team seems to think Hearthstone's a platform that would make Battlegrounds a part of Hearthstone, but it is arguably entirely different than everything else you can do within that client. So there, I think, is an argument to be made that no, it's not really like Hearthstone, and it kind of is its own thing, and it could be a standalone game, and they could sell it on Steam, and it would be making all this money.
Yeah, but you can
But-
make the exact same argument about Mercenaries.
Yes. And I have said since the get-go that does not belong in the client. It belongs as a garbage mobile pile of garbage.
Oh boy. Oh wow. Okay. Wow.
My
All right.
opinion has not changed.
I don't
I
remember
agree
the
that
triad anymore.
all this
What
stuff
crits
needs to
what?
be
Because
separate.
Josh just crit Mercenaries.
Red hits green, green hits blue, blue hits red.
Oh, that's right. I just need to remember my Pokemon triad. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very similar.
And now now I've got this horrible hankering to go play Pokemon, not Mercenaries. We got a patch 23.4 or .3 came out, and now I'm back to playing standard when I don't have a lot of time to play a game instead of Battlegrounds, and it's lovely because Warrior was taken to the cleaners with a big fat Nerf bat. This bat was made out of actual wood and not Nerf, by the way. Not the soft one. Shield Shatter had the damage nerfed by 1. Title Revenant had the armor gain reduced by 3. Used to give you 8, now it gives you 5. Nellie's pirate ship, which I'm again realizing by the way, always in rando conversation when I don't have stuff in front of me, call it Nessie. So I always get confused when I see it written.
Oh my God. I like 100% thought that's what it was.
Right? This makes me want to sing country grammar. But Nellie's pirate ship really nerfed. No more one mana pirates. This one's not easy. You're just gonna read the whole thing. It used to be add Nellie's pirate crew to your hand. They cost 1. Now they cost 1 less. So no more one mana pirates unless they cost 2 to begin with.
I think that's a really good change.
It's
The pirate
nuclear.
ship was well, yeah, exactly. It's the pirate ship was overpowered. Now, I mean, I haven't seen one in since the patch, but I don't know. Is Nelly, not Nessie, still playable?
No, Lee.
No, Lee. Okay.
No. It's if we zoom out a bit and look at this is a 12 card change patch. After the most recent patch before the mini set was 20 cards. Mostly buffs, but 20 cards.
Mhm.
Then 2 weeks after that they did a mini set. Then 2 weeks after that they nerfed 12 cards. It's been a hard time to keep up with what's been going on in Hearthstone. But if you look at this patch overall, this is the scam reduction patch where they took ways that you're like, what the hell, that was bullshit. And they really watered down a lot of that. Case in point, from the depths, we can pretend watered down was a planned pun. It wasn't, but we can pretend. went from 3 mana to 4 mana, got out of the school teacher pool. School teacher, by the way, also nerfed. So they nerfed 5 core cards in Warrior. Um, that's a lot. That's a lot of changes, and
Yeah, Mr.
I think
Smite
there's
is if you're following along at home via the patch post, Mr. Smite's all the way down at the bottom under neutral, but it might as well be in Warrior because Mr. Smite went up a mana as well. It's now 7 up from 6 mana. Still his charge. The dev comment made me kind of laugh because they're like, it's a game ending card that doesn't need to be quite as powerful as he is on curve, and I'm just like, it's charge. I feel like we learned our charge lesson.
Yeah, I thought that's why we ended up with rush as a keyword.
Yeah, it's one thing if you had to. Yeah, it was one thing if you had to pay for it, but then Nelly came along too and just kind of compounded the concern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, charge. So like I've come around on charge in a major way because you need ways for games to end. You need some lethality because otherwise you just end up with stats on curve and Baron's Priest, and nobody wants any of that. Right. So you need some lethality, and if you take charge out, then that means you need burn and damage from hand and combo. And so we call that Stormwind. And I don't know if people want that version of lethality around too much. Some people do. Some people really don't. We hear about both all day on social media. But when you play charge minions, you know what's good against charge is taunt and healing, which means you get to play for board and you get to play taunts and you get to play healing and you get to play a light shower elemental or something, and that can be effective. Whereas if you're against Garrote Rogue, light shower elemental just kind of sits there and then you die from 50. So it's all about making sure that charge is appropriately balanced and doesn't get old. And Smite wasn't a balance outlier, but he was getting old. It was the way the games were ending for 8 months. It's time for something else to happen. So they changed him and they changed Nelly, which is a way to get them. I don't think that either is a bad change in theory and intention. Um, but the change to Nelly, among a couple other cards here, there is no reason to run Nelly anymore for anything. It doesn't even go in Quest Pirate Warrior anymore. And when the Pirate Colossal doesn't go in the Pirate deck, you have just turned this card into an empty slot in your collection. And this is what people were upset about years ago before they started making cards higher power. You would open a Bullfram Shield, and what do I do with this Bullfram Shield? What do I do with this useless legendary? And Nelly feels pretty useless right now. So I don't know why they didn't say they cost 2, or why they didn't say a pirate that costs 5 or less. Because
Mm,
it's
yeah, restrict the pool.
Nelly was good when you didn't find Smite. But if you won the coin flip to find Smite, it was stupid. So what if you just took the stupid coin flips out and left the other ones? It's a little different. But I don't like deleting cards, and I was hoping this nerf would be softer than it was, but Warrior went from being the best class to the worst class in one patch, and that seems like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
I'm
So
kind of
go ahead.
sorry.
Joss.
Go ahead, Garrett.
No.
I was gonna say I'm kind of okay with Warrior not being as good as it was. At least the pirate variant. I feel like Warrior's been quite good for quite a while since they made the change around the pirates that went along with the quest line. So not right when the quest line came in, but when they made that change. And so I'm like, I want control to still be good, because I feel like they haven't had a really good control deck for a very long time. Like, and it feels like I've only been playing Control Warrior for like this expansion, like this standard year rotation. So I would have liked that to stick around. I feel like there's like old school Control Warrior players that were like, okay, yay, we get a Control Warrior deck back. And I was like, oh, hey, I like this version of Control Warrior. I'm going to play it. And Blizzard's like, no. Kill warriors, all warriors.
Control Warrior is very. It's like wrong place, wrong time. It's like you're hanging out with your buddies and one of them gets busted for something and you get busted by proxy just by being there with them, and you're like, no, it's not mine. It really wasn't. The Quest Warrior has been so successful for so long. I think Warrior's been kind of in the crosshairs, but.
Well, yeah, it's like everyone was kind of mad that Warrior and Pirate Warrior had been so good for so long, and then Control Warrior was like, hey guys, and then Blizzard was like, no, whack. That was the nerf bat.
remember in Onyxia's Lair, we had Kazakhstan Warrior. That was good for the second half of the expansion in Alterac. And then, yeah, it was Control Warrior's pretty good for most of Voyage. And the mini set cards all made it a lot better, even though they nerfed Kazakhstan, but that was more of a Druid nerf than a Warrior nerf.
Mm-hmm.
Warrior stayed good, Warrior stayed necessary. And I like the idea of Control Warrior staying around in some form, and you can like kind of still play it right now, but it's so much worse if they hit from the depths. If they made Nelly worse, and like the idea of turn 3 depths and a turn 4 Nelly, get 1 mana smites, win a 50/50 coin flip, deal you 20 damage for 3 mana, that shouldn't be in the game. I like that they took that out of the game. I like that depths cost a little bit more. I like that chatter's a little bit less effective. These are not new stories. So I like the idea of creating room for new stories. But the severity to which it was done seems a little excessive. And Tidal Revenant, it's a good card, but it just gains a bunch of armor. Did that need to also go away right now? Not did it need to stay this way forever. Did it need to change right now? Because Fell
Yeah.
Demon Hunter was arguably a better deck or on par with Control Warrior right before the nerfs. It got 2 changes plus School Teacher, as opposed to 4 core cards getting hit.
Was okay, so I guess I didn't really see Tidal Revenant played too often because it's an expensive card. Like, was there a way to like cheat it out or something? Like, why was this in the crosshairs? It's just only like, I mean, it was 8 mana, gain 8 armor, right? Like, and the minion obviously, but
It's on a sizable minion.
yes,
but yeah.
yes, it's on a big stick. That's fair, but like, it's an 8 mana minion. Like, I don't think I ever really saw it.
I believe it was a firm
From the Depths
nice
makes it
stick.
5. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
From
yeah,
the
but I
Depths
mean,
makes
like,
it 5.
I find it like when you talk about from the depths, like I know from the depths, obviously, like it's huge mana reductions, and then you also get to dredge. But like, I hate it when stuff gets targeted for the super big outliers, and I feel like the situation you described with smite and stuff and how that shouldn't be in the game. Okay, sure, but I feel like again that was a pirate Nelly thing. And smite just shouldn't have been in Nelly's like pool of pirates because that was just awful and feels bad all the time in so many different ways and had been around for a while. But like getting an 8 mana minion for then 5 mana, but you can't count on it all the time. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels fun to high roll. Like, I was playing that big hunter deck that you sent me earlier today, Hat, and I got a 6 mana King Crush that then I got to keep bringing back because he was a beast that died, and that felt pretty cool.
Oh, are
and
you
it was
playing
a
that
high
beast
roll,
hunter
and
list?
I did it one time, and it felt really cool. But like, he wasn't always on the bottom of my deck.
You can still turn 4 Depths into turn 5 Revenant, but I agree that Revenant shouldn't have been nerfed right now, but Warrior gain, the amount of armor that Warrior was gaining, you basically were Cariel, except they can't Viper you, because you would have 70 plus health a game, you would Igneous Lava Gorger and Dredge into the Revenant, gain 8. And then if you had From the Depths on Bran, you would just do Bran Revenant, deal 10, gain 16. Those are large numbers. Those are very, very big numbers. And so notice that Tidal Revenant is the only armor gaining card that got nerfed because they wanted Warrior to have less armor. So they found one of the least offensive ones, one of the newer ones, instead of re-nerfing Rokara Hero or instead of getting rid of the Frozen Buckler synergy. They hit the card that was armor and damage and a minion. And Tidal Revenant was really, really efficient. Even though it's 8, you have so much armor gain along the way, and this gets so much of it back that if you're using Outrider's Axe to draw a bunch of cards, you basically undo all the damage you took and kill another thing and make a body that they can't deal with. So it's a strong card, but it's okay for strong cards to exist. And maybe if you're
Mhm.
taking away all of Warrior's scams and all of Warrior's lethality access, then maybe you can let it keep the armor. So I land in the same place as you that this didn't need to change now. And if the armor gets out of hand, sure. But if the armor doesn't lead to the warrior ending the game, maybe it's okay for control deck to do that right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, a control deck has to live, right? If a
It does.
control deck can't live, it's not going to see play because it's not controlling anything.
Well said.
I did not expect to feel bad for Warrior. Yeah.
Well, one particular kind of warrior, not all warriors,
Well,
Pirates
honestly,
are
even
yeah.
pirate a little bit. Like again, so for pirate, I'm biased. I like the deck.
You love
For
pirates.
control, I'm biased. I hate the deck. I don't want to go up against it. I don't like the long games because it's not what I'm looking for when I play standard. Just in general, I don't want games to ever go that long. I'd rather go play a MOBA. But I feel bad for it. That's where I'm surprised. I'm surprised I feel bad for Control Warrior is my specific statement. I'm not surprised that I feel bad for Pirate Warrior, but I do feel bad for Pirate Warrior.
I mean, just looking at the list of nerfs here, imagine if you were a fan of Libram Paladin, you were kind of bored of Libram Paladin, they're like, we're nerfing Aldor Attendant, Aldor Truth Seeker, Libram of Hope, Libram of Wisdom, and Libram of Justice. You'd be like, God damn, what did they do? What did they do to deserve this?
too good for too long. Yeah.
Because, like, if Librams lived for as long as they did, and then a new Control Warrior deck comes around, they're like, boy, we got to hit 20% of the cards in this deck, or otherwise it might still be around. Just like it's at odds with what they've done recently, where they try not to delete decks. They nerfed First Day of School twice because they didn't want to hit it too hard the first time. This time they're like, Nelly, just rework it, make it bad.
I don't know. It like makes me go like priorities might be somewhere else. Maybe there's a longer. Maybe they know they're not going to be able to push out another like adjustment patch before now and whatever it is coming down the pipeline that they got to work on. Maybe they're just really excited about the Microsoft event. I have no idea. But this does seem uncharacteristic of modern Hearthstone balance changes. You hit the nail on the head, Hat, when you said this feels like it was from back in the day. Because back in the day, we used to murder cards when they got nerfed. Now, granted, balance changes in general were few and far between, which is important to remember. But yeah, this is Warrior got a death sentence with this patch.
Yeah, and you can still play it and like do okay sometimes. But you went from having a chance in every matchup and occasionally just winning to being a pretty specific targeted deck, trying to hit specific matchups, and sometimes just randomly losing. So the scams are really rarely in your favor anymore.
And that's a caveat. I mean, it's a caveat we say a lot. What you just said is like an asterisk. It's not much different than this deck's bad. Unless your goal is to have fun with the game instead of win. Like Warrior is bad. Unless your goal is to play Warrior. Like then you succeeded. Congratulations, you played Warrior. But so often the conversations on this show, we assume you want to win. That's about the only caveat or overarching thing I think I could say about any conversation on the show, because Lord knows it goes in a lot of other directions. But Demon Hunter,
I think a hot dog is a taco.
Get the frick off this show.
Demon Hunter.
Or Madman. Yeah. So carry a Felsel costs one more, but also kind of got a buff, but the cost one more is the important part here. Tax up.
Yeah, they
up.
changed all the 6s to 7s.
Yeah. Literally all of them.
Yeah, all the 6s to 7s.
Yeah, but it's the speed at which Carria comes down is now moved an entire turn later. And that's the impact of this. And then Battlesworn Vanguard, the health is down to 1. Good. Dying to fire, you little shit. I hated this card.
Really?
Yes, this card is such a bastard.
Yeah.
Nothing was worse than when you could only do 1 damage to the board, and this bastard survived another turn, so you just face down the same number of freaking Fell Wings again.
It was a good change. Both of these were good changes. I am also somewhat sad that Carria now has no reason to exist because she was there to cheat out big demons, and now she is the same cost as said demons. But I'm not that sad because she's a Barnes, and I'm not going to cry over a Barnes. I'm just not going to do that. She can go. Enjoy your 1600 dust. Don't play her. She's bad now. Bad card. Even in big demon decks, she's not what you want to be doing. It's not it. But Vanguard, like you said, Garrett, you would just fall behind on board, and then you would deal with the Fell Wings, but not the Vanguard, and then so you didn't actually deal with the Fell Wings. it's a really nice change here because it doesn't just snowball out of control forever.
It was a zero-sum game. You don't deal with the Fell Wings, you deal with Vanguard, or you're not dealing with the Fell Wings, as you said.
Yeah.
And then School Teacher, as you pointed out, is relevant to this as well. It used to be a 5/4, is now a 4/3. It is a neutral, but is relevant to Demon Hunter.
It's relevant to a lot of classes because so many, like, what classes were playing School Teacher? Demon Hunter was, Druid, some weird Druid decks were, but not very many. Naga Hunter decks, Naga Mage decks, we'll get to that later. I don't think any Paladin decks played it. Naga Priest did and still does. Not any Rogue decks, definitely Shaman, definitely
Warrior did.
Warlock, and definitely Warrior, yeah.
Well, people
most
still
of the
need to
classes-
play Warrior to feel this change.
It's true.
But yes, it was in most classes, minus 1 or 2.
Like Nom Noms in chat says, but Vanguard helped your games go faster, Garrett. Yeah, but not the way I want them to go faster.
Garrett has very specific ways he wants his Hearthstone games to play out. He wants to win quickly, but not necessarily play aggro and never face Control Warrior.
Okay, hold on. Is it very specific to say I would like my games to take less than 25 minutes? Is that really that much to ask?
Well, yeah, and then Demon Hunter would come and beat you quickly, and you were like, but no, not like that.
That's so unfair. I'm allowed to comment on a
Yeah,
card.
Garrett, why don't you just lose faster more often? You'd be happier.
Yeah.
Then
There's a bottom right button that'll help your games go very quick.
You hit bottom right, I hit escape.
Escape is all right. That is a key tech. You always hit escape. Bottom right, there's so much clicking and navigating. Escape's always right in the same spot.
When you're in a
But
particularly
it's easier to say bottom right, bro.
when you're down to that one card out where you're like, if they have it, I'm done. Do you do the thing where you hit escape, you line up concede, and you keep your cursor there, but then you bring escape down again in case they don't have it? But you just line it up so you're immediately ready to just insta concede if the bowl actually comes to fruition.
You okay, buddy?
Just me? Okay. I'm just curious.
That's some white hot premeditated rage right there.
No, I'm not.
Premeditated
Just like-
rage.
You have to queue up. What do I do if I'm not mad? That's what you're doing. You're planning on a backup plan in case you're not super angry. But plan A is anger. That's the A.
Plan A is get out of this losing situation as fast as possible, so I can hopefully go experience a non-losing situation.
You know what's really fast? Letting them hit you with the smite. That also gets things over very quickly.
You gotta listen.
And you don't have to do
them.
anything. You can get up and go to the bathroom while they're doing their thing.
You gotta listen to them. They probably got quests. They're dropping another BS. They're hitting their hero power because they got the used hero power quest. No, I'm out of there. I just sit
there and let them do their thing because maybe they are trying to finish a quest line or use their hero power, play battle cry cards.
Oh, aren't you so altruistic? Me,
Okay,
an actual human being.
As a human being that has to queue up your backup plan in case you're not angry. But
My backup plan in case
here's the tiebreaker.
It's just in case I die.
So here's the thing. I'll do what both of you do. Depends. Did they emote? If they emoted, no quest credit for you. Absolutely not. If they were quiet, I'll be quiet too.
Yeah, I actually don't have a lot of people emoting at me lately. Do you still have like emote spammers?
I
might get one person a day, maybe. Maybe I'm just nice.
Yeah, something like that.
I've
And that
been-
person
People
ain't going to
can
make any
tell
progress
through
towards Sword of a
Hearthstone.
Thousand Truths. They are not getting that Sword of a Thousand Truths achievement from me. That
No?
emote spam.
Oh man.
If they don't play the Zyrella when they have lethal, if they don't emote spam me, I will stay in the game and just instantly pass. But the second that they take advantage of my generosity, no achievement for you.
I've been an auto squelcher for at least 2 years.
Good for
Really?
you.
Haven't looked
Oh
back.
man.
Have not looked back.
King Dupless in the chat is correct. I am canonically one of the 6 people who use the sorry emote as intended.
That is fair.
Never sarcastically. Always, sorry, I took too long on my turn. I had to go get a drink. I'm back now. Hi.
I cannot categorize you because I have played battle royales with you and I know the words in your vocabulary. I know the smack talk that leaves your lips when you kill someone in a shooter. I have been there. I have seen I have looked into the abyss and it stared back at me.
Okay, but hear me out. Hearthstone's not a shooter.
That's fair. It's very fair. No, I'm not like
Garrett plays
yelling.
Pirate Warrior, so that's not true.
Wait, what?
You shoot cannons. It's a shooter.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. There it is. Okay. It was a technical joke and not a pun. I'll allow it. How do you feel?
Now Manny and Sparky are in chat room talking about my shooters.
There it is. Hey, can we play PUBG tonight? Now I want to play PUBG.
I'll have to go install it.
Same, because I just wiped my computer. It was hey, you know what's less fun than COVID? Hard drive failure. I would rather have had COVID again last week. Yeah, it was bad. That was no fun. How do you feel about Wild Pawnell for Rogue losing one attack?
That's the segue we're getting, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
That's our segue. Okay.
Did you see a better one, and that's why you're bringing this up, or do you just feel like making it awkward?
The second one.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
I wasn't sure if you were going to do a different segue. I had my concede queued up, but you threw to me, so I closed the window.
Cool.
Jocelyn literally choked on her water. I'm sorry,
Josh. I was not prepared. I was like, I'll just let them hash it out while I just take a sip of my, oh God.
Was the water firm?
So anyways, I was worried that the Wild Pawn Knoll nerf was the wrong one, that they were supposed to move to 6 and instead they moved to 3-5. I don't think that's true. I think this ended up being the right nerf because this is one of 2 rogue nerfs. Because Smite is a rogue nerf, and a significant, substantial nerf to rogue's lethality. I had a game the other day, I had a really nice start as Demon Hunter. They go turn 5 boat. I was at 27. Turn 5 boat, turn 6 Krakatoa, turn 7 Smite Fish, and you're dead now. Just nothing that I can interact with at all. Everything was damage from hand and stealth and charge. Just 27-0, and I was the Demon Hunter. And like somehow I was the good guy. So it was just a lot of lethality. The Smite nerf means you can't Edwin Smite without scabs. The Shadow Step is 7 and 5 instead of 6 and 4, so you can't do it twice in the same turn. It comes down a turn later for Smite Fission. It's just way, way harder to kill people with Rogue out of nowhere, which is probably a good thing. Wild Pawnell is still very good at defending the early game for Rogue, but it's no longer a threat that kills your opponent very quickly by itself or with Naval Mines. And instead, it's good for trading, but it's not really great for pressure. It's a nice change. I think it ended up being the right change. I was concerned that it wasn't, but early game minions aren't being held back by Wild Pawnell. They're being held back by there are no good 1-drops in this format right now, except for Vicious Slither Spear, and that will hopefully change when they print more of them. But overall, Rogue is okay right now. It was a little spooky the first couple days. It looked like Naval Mine Rogue was the best deck in the format. It was for like a day and a half, and I was terrified. And then people stopped playing garbage decks, and it got way worse very quickly. So thankfully, not oppressive. Phew.
Hooray!
So, but Garrett, how do you feel about the Paladin nerf?
It bums me out, but just keep playing Cariel. I don't think Cariel is a dust. Like, honestly, I was bummed at first, and then I saw the fallout of Warrior, and I was like, you know what? I'm fine.
Things could be worse.
Things could be a lot worse. This could be a Carry of Felsoul. This could be anything that just happened to Warrior. Lightforge Cariel is really good. If you've missed it somehow, cost went up by a mana. Cariel's now an 8 mana card.
It still does everything the same, right?
Yeah.
Like you still take half damage, you still get the consecrate effect. Like I feel like those are the reasons that you play her. And I don't know if the difference between like 7 and 8, like you might save yourself from dying sometimes if you can get it down that one turn earlier, but I feel like Paladin already had a lot of stall. So I think they're still gonna get to Cariel, and she's still gonna be hella annoying.
Yeah, I agree. Like there were a lot of times on turn 7 it was bubble, like I wanted to bubble bot plus another 3-drop anyway. There's Lord knows there's plenty of 3-drops to combine with bubble bot on turn 7. So there were plenty of games where I was already like I had Carol in hand, but I was delaying anyway because it just didn't really need her that turn. Bubble bot was either going to save me from dying and probably stabilize the game, or was just strictly more impactful. So, and that's where I play Carrie a lot is in Mech Paladin. I know she shows up in a lot of other decks as well because Paladin for the last year has felt like Hunter has for the last 4, where there's just so many ladder viable lists out there that you can do that are completely different, unique archetypes. So, I think this is absolutely fair. I'm at peace with it. I am not hitting escape and hovering over anything reading this change.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. She stays in every deck list she was in, and she feels notably less powerful, and that usually means it was a good nerf. Because if
Yep.
you still want to do the thing and you can feel the difference, that means they probably should have changed it. Because if you're still willing to do it at the higher price, it was too good at the lower one.
This is the template I would like to see applied to at least some of the warrior cards that just got taken out back.
Yeah.
I almost said kicked into something, and I was like, I'm just going to curve into something more violent, I guess. Go me. I don't know what it says about me. I've had a hard 3 weeks. But yeah, still playing Cariel. Still going to happily pay 8 mana for this card.
Yep.
Also,
good.
Let's be honest. Looking at the field, looking at everything that happened, Paladin needed some kind of nerf. It's only fair at this point. They've got too many good decks.
Yeah, and Holy Paladin, I believe at Legend is still the best deck, but it's worse. So that's cool.
Yeah. Over to Mage, Spitelash Siren had the cost increased by 1, but got 1 more health for the trouble. Now a 2/6, but costs 5 instead of 4. Card text is unchanged.
This is one of the ones that the people I've spoken to were surprised by. Thought it was a little bit out of left field. Have either of you seen any Naga mages before the nerfs? Like, was it
Not
something you
absolutely.
ran
really.
into at all?
No.
Well,
oh, really? Oh, I didn't see very many of them.
So more specifically, not much since the mini set. I saw a ton of it before the mini set.
Okay.
Probably first 4 weeks, but for a while there.
I was gonna say, like, it was when I was watching the esport thing a couple weeks ago. I can't even remember which tournament it was.
You sound like me trying to remember.
I know.
Yeah, there was an esport thing.
there was a tournament I watched, and there was, Naga Mage was kind of all over the place, but I didn't see it on ladder hardly at all. But I did see a tweet from APX Void talking about like this nerf specifically, and basically saying that like every time they do something fun with Mage, then they just nerf it into the ground, and he hasn't really liked the just card design in general in Mage since Skullmance. And if you guys don't, like, APX Void is like, when I need an opinion on Mage, like that's where I go. He is like the Mage guy. And so basically talking about how like Mage's viability has always revolved around like one card, and that when they hit that card, mages don't have anything left to do.
Yeah. I
can link the
APX knows Mage. He knows Mage really, really well. But also, for someone that plays a class exclusively, when they get nerfed, they tend to see it a little differently than the people that play some other stuff. I'm not going to say that he's wrong. I'm going to say that I think there have been some Mage decks that have been around for multiple expansions that have been fine, and Incanter's Flow got its cost doubled and still saw play until the second it rotated out. So those decks and classes didn't exactly go away. Mage was the most popular class for all of last year, and in ways that people had some Mage rage about. Like, we definitely heard some significant Mage rage, but Spitelash Siren was a fun card. Like, I get why they
I
nerfed
thought it
it.
was a really cool deck. Like, it was a cool idea
Yeah.
to have to constantly switch between two different things to get the most out of what your deck was built to do. Like, I thought it was really interesting. And did it have crazy pop off turns? Sure, it did. But there's lots of decks in the format. We've had a lot of decks recently that have done that. Why not
Yeah.
mage?
It's so I think it's a question of when, not how. And that's why we see a mana cost change here. Remember Gibberling.
Yes.
Gibberling, big in the phrasing that we want to use here is non-games. When one person does the thing and the other person did not really take any relevant game actions that game, and then it suddenly is just like, well, this is over now. And Gibberling went from 1 to 2 when it killed the card. So Spitelash Siren, when you pop off, turn 4 doesn't happen very much, but it can. Turn 5 happens some regularity. And when you have the good pop off turns, you play 7 minions that turn, 6 to 7 spells. You kill their stuff. You generate some cards. You freeze their minions. And then either you are a deck with Shield Shatter, or you have Coin Snowfall Guardian or something, or all your stuff dies and then you die. And that's a pretty early point in the game to give your opponent the option of do something right now or be dead, and they just nerfed Shield Shatter, so they can't kill this anymore. So there needed to be some kind of accommodation for that. They moved it 1 turn later. It killed the deck. Nagamage is dead now. But if your deck dies when your scam moves exactly 1 turn later, that means it was only winning before because it was getting onto the board in a major way before anyone could do anything about it. And if it's only doing that, if it's only winning the games where the other person doesn't get to play, you can't keep that around even if people are enjoying it because it's net negative fun in that game. I really liked being the Naga Mage player, but when they popped off on 4, I was like, well, I guess that's what happens to me then, and I would move on to the next one. And it's better to avoid that sort of thing, or at least push it a turn later so you can do something about it. But that ended up killing the deck because if you can't beat people with their guard down, then you can't beat people at all, and that means the deck needs to go.
Well, I mean, and again, this kind of goes back to my interest in the design of the card and liking the idea of switching back and forth between two things and getting some advantage for doing that. Like, because this one mana change did kill the deck, like you say, like, would it not have been a more interesting change to maybe try to keep the deck viable, that instead of refreshing 2 mana crystals, try maybe 1 mana crystal or something? Like, is there another change to Spitelash Siren that could have left it viable and could have made Mage still playable? I mean,
I think
Mage is
that
still playable,
change
but
yeah.
they're doing big spell things now. I mean, Naga Mage specifically.
Yes. I think that suggested change is actually substantially harsher because on the pop-off turn there, that change nerfs the deck by 13 mana, and
Mm.
that's a lot. So,
That is a lot.
it's
So
yeah,
it's dead either way, basically. There's nothing they
it's
could
I
do to fix this.
it's way more dead that way. I don't really know if there's a middle ground, but if they're moving this later because the way that it works at its best makes players close the game, this is the safest way to make sure that stops happening,
Mm.
and it happens to have the byproduct in this meta that it lacks the support that you can get anywhere with it. Maybe they print other cards that maybe they print a Mana Biscuit or something next set, and then you can play this on 5 again. And maybe that's the way you fix it is by giving it more support cards now that the card's a little weaker, as opposed to support cards that you otherwise could not print when the card was strong.
Mhm.
Maybe that's the answer, or maybe it's just an experiment that they tried, people liked it, but then it failed because it only worked when it didn't work for the opponent.
But if that's the only time it worked, why nerf it? Like,
It's it is they printed a lot of cool designs that ended up being really big bummers to face, and there weren't a lot of knobs to tune here for some of these cards. A lot of them they did it right. With Warrior, I think they could have landed in a better spot. They just kind of pushed too hard there. But Spitelash Siren, it might be something where you look at the design and say, if this is only good when it's broken and it's scamming people, then maybe it's a card that we don't end up printing. But I really liked playing with the cards, so I'm glad they printed it even if it was only for a couple months. I don't know. Design is hard. I'm not a game designer. I don't envy their jobs.
Druid, moving right along. Earthen Scales is now a 2 mana card, up from 1. Does exactly what you remember it did. Still gives a friendly minion +1/+1, and then you still gain armor equal to its attack.
This is one I hated. Earthen Scales made me so mad. Like, just whenever Druid would play, because I would get them so low and I'd be so close to killing them, and then they're like, boop boop, Earthen Scales, ho 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 ho. My stupid Druid, no.
It's so different from the way, like, than losing to a warrior with a crap ton of armor, right? Because the warrior's dealing with your threats, but they aren't deploying threats. Druid really, for the most part, can't deal with your threats, although they kind of can. But they're also deploying massive threats that have to be dealt with. Sometimes they have taunt. So it just, yeah, I feel you there,
can't
Joce.
Ibis innervate Scales anymore, and I didn't like it when they gained 26. But
Right?
this
Like,
isn't-
how is that
yeah.
okay?
It isn't. They changed the card.
I
They
know,
clearly
but
don't
I
think
just,
it's okay.
I just want them to hit the delete button.
You're
That's-
retroactively mad at something they agree with you on.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that of all the cards that they nerfed, this is the one that I was like, yes, this one should have been deleted. Like, make it cost 10.
Yeah. Well, they made Scales worse, but the important thing that they deleted was Guidance Scales now costs 6 instead of 4, and it's just much harder to play. Guidance Scales draw the other scales is gone from 3 to 4. It's just so much harder to fit into a turn. And when they would just gain 21 or something for 4 mana, it's like, brr, it was unpleasant.
Yes.
Did you just say firm?
You-
Is that what you just yelled?
Yes.
Okay, just making
Grunted.
sure.
I
I mean,
grunted
Earthen
firm.
Scales, you're getting covered in protective layering. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Shaman / Druid in Wild, technically. Lightning Bloom. Now they came for Lightning Bloom. It finally happened. It now reads refresh 2 mana crystals, where it used to say gain 2 mana crystals.
Do y'all know what was happening in Wild? Do
I
y'all pay any
never
attention to that?
know
No,
what's
no.
happening in Wild.
Okay. There was a big shaman deck. It made big things fast. Large. Big, large, huge. Printing of colossals was very good for the big shaman archetype because you would always get the appendages. So it was the tier 1 deck. I tried it out on Wednesday after I saw a tweet saying, hey, changes are coming, but they didn't announce what the tweets were. So I tried out Big Shaman, so I'm like, this is probably getting changed tomorrow, right? The first game I played with it, I played a Neptulon on turn 2, and I said, oh, this shouldn't, no.
This should
No,
not
this
exist.
is not okay. By the way, they killed the Neptulon, so I had to wait till turn 5 to kill them because the naturalize that they used let me ancestors call out a Yasharaj on turn 4, and then I killed them on turn 5. It nice change.
Sounds wild.
Knucklebones in chat saying
Whoa!
that Big Shaman got me to legend before the nerf.
Good deck. Yeah, it was a good choice to play, and now it's a good choice for Blizzard to not let you play it no more.
I mean, this Lightning Bloom change kind of sounds like what it always should have been, right? Always refreshing instead of gaining. It felt like Lightning Bloom was such a thorn in our side for so long in Standard that if they'd just done this near the end, that probably would have been okay.
In retrospect, it's easy to say that. I think Lightning Bloom, outside of the very last portion of its time in Standard, was actually really healthy for the format. Outside of in Ultrac, outside of Kazakhstan and Wildpaw Caverns. Before that, they just nerfed all the broken 7s to 8s. So Guardian Animals got slower and all that. But in Quest Shaman, it was a good card, but necessary for the deck to function. It didn't feel crazy broken. There were a lot of other decks where you would play it, but the 2 Overload would be really relevant in Standard. It was more bust and wild at any point. The last couple months of Standard, there were a lot of things going on where Lightning Bloom felt pretty powerful, but it wasn't the case for the 50 months before that. So I'm glad
Well, I
it
know,
was the
but
way
that's
it was.
I mean for the near the end, for the last part where you say
Yeah.
like the except the. So when
Yeah.
as at the except part, change it to this. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, I feel that. For the Kazakhstan in turn 3 part.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what? In retrospect, Kazakhstan not really great on 3. Not great for. I mean, powerful. It's good to be the person doing it, but not the person getting Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
I don't mean to drastically shift topics, but guys, we just got a new patron named Stevie.
No way.
Not joking. Just came into the inbox as a notification. Don't usually do this, but
Thanks,
given
Steve.
the events, given comments on this podcast just a little bit earlier, I felt it was worth breaking with tradition and announcing a new patron randomly in the middle of the show.
I really hope it's someone from chat room whose name has nothing to do with Steve or Stevie. And who just is like playing a joke on us.
I'm not going to get hyper specific, but the email has Steve in the email.
Oh, they're committed to the bit.
Yeah, but what follows is like seemingly completely random, like it's some sort of screen name or internet handle. So this seems like a thing that's been there for a while. Also, Steve is not spelt the same as it is in the name on the Patreon. There's too much random
too
happenstance here.
baseball. I'm just, it's thanks,
Did
Steve.
you message them? Did you message them and ask if they were a medical professional?
I know the name of my own friend Steve. I know his last name.
Yeah, it's Steve, Garrett. We all know the name of your friend Steve.
He has a last name too. Anyways, yeah, and we talked about school teacher. We have some Battlegrounds balance updates to talk about. But before we get to that, we also have a sponsor to thank on this episode. Today's episode is sponsored by Honey. You know, they've been supporting the show for so long. This is one of those things where I just assume everyone listening has heard us sing the virtues of Honey before. Joce, do you love wasting time manually searching the internet for coupon codes so you can maybe save some money when you're shopping?
Garrett, you have known me for a very long time. So, I mean, you know my hobbies. So, obviously, no, I do not like doing that. I have hobbies.
Okay, I asked because you came after me for not wanting 25-minute games. So I just assumed you had a lot of time to burn.
That's fair.
Well, lucky for you and for everyone listening, Honey has made manually searching for coupon codes a thing of the past. You should go to joinhoney.com/TAC right now. Go check it out because Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart, and it supports over 30,000 stores online, ranging from something you're interested to something even more obscure that you're interested in. So you should go check them out. I very recently shared that they saved me a couple bucks, $2 to be specific, on some delivery food while I was horribly ill because I didn't want to go out. That's horrible and terrible, and I shouldn't put people at risk while I'm at sick. So I had the food come to me, gave them a little note that said, please, for the love of God, leave it on the bench. Beware, abandon hope. All you enter here, do not ring the doorbell. Just let me know when it's here, and I'll crawl out. Got some soup, got some lovely bread, made me feel a lot better, saved me $2 from my trouble, and it happened all automatically because I was placed the order online, and Honey dropped down and was like, hey, do you want us to try some coupons? And I was like, yes. And it was like, you could save $2. And I'm like, of course I want to. Why would I not want to? So you should go check them out. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds. I had to reinstall it recently because I also had hard drive failure over the weekend. So that was fun. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting the Angry Chicken. I wouldn't recommend something that I don't use. Go get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/TAC. That's joinhoney.com/TAC. We thank them for their support. We thank you for supporting the brands that support us here on the Angry Chicken. And we also, we just want to talk about Battlegrounds. So we're going to talk about Battlegrounds. We're going to talk about Battlegrounds right now.
Have a good battle, friend.
I will have a good battle because my computer's working. It's nice. It's nice to have a functioning computer. A lot of Battlegrounds changes. This is probably the first week in a while where I have played the least amount of Battlegrounds of everyone here. So I really don't know how this is landing. I'm not joking. I've been fighting with my hardware for a week. It's finally over. So I'm looking forward to seeing how things have changed in Battlegrounds, but there were a lot of changes.
It's your pretty normal stuff. The top 2 heroes are Pyramid and Tamsin Rome, so we're just having a normal one out here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did take a look at the wins or at the average placements and think to myself, I guess it's been pretty effective. We were teased.
I did get I came first with Ozmat, which I had never played him before, and so that was pretty neat. But also, it was pirates, so that probably had something to do with it.
Yeah. So
you mean the best comp in Battlegrounds? Pirates.
Yeah.
Also, just as nature intended.
Huge sample size, guaranteed broken.
Yep.
Confirmed. Yeah, Ozmat, if you didn't play Ozmat, wouldn't have blamed you. Used to be passive start of combat, summon a 2/2 tentacle with taunt. Upgrades after you sell a minion. Now it's passive start of combat, summon a 2/2 tentacle with taunt. Gains +1/+1 after you sell a minion. It is just a clarification. So yeah, Joce,
yeah,
it was
it's
pirates.
just so that they know. Yeah, it was definitely pirates. It's just so you know what upgrade means, because upgrade has been used in other contexts within Battlegrounds. So yeah, this just means +1/+1.
We cannot handle.
When you're selling minions and doing APM pirates, I think I ended up with like an 80 something taunt. So
Now I'm going to be retroactively mad about something that they agree with me on. We cannot handle ever seeing Inspire again, even though it's only ever meant one thing. But let's just slap upgrade on whatever we want, even though it's had more than one meaning.
Well, but they fixed it, so it's okay.
Anixia got a upgrade as well. Upgrade, yeah. See, now I'm just throwing it around.
And now you're doing it.
Whelp is the Whelps are a 3/1 now instead of a 2/1. That's a sizable buff.
I think she kind of needed it. I didn't see a whole lot of Anixias, and I don't know. There's too many heroes now for me to keep track of exactly like where heroes are near the middle and bottom, but I didn't see her very often, which makes me think she was pretty close to the bottom.
Anixia is no joke. One of the heroes that post Buddy's leaving, I was the Wolverine meme with the frame in bed.
Yeah. She was, when you say pretty close to the bottom, I believe she was only slightly better than Pyramid, if not actually on the bottom. Like, she was a bottom 5. She was unpickable. There was no reason to pick her. And now she has been buffed to bottom of tier 3. So, progress?
A little bit.
She's on the Tamsin Rome path to redemption, where after 4 more buffs, she'll finally get there.
Yeah,
I do like the Pyramid change. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Garrett.
Oh, I was just going to make an absolutely stupid joke which was if you saw an Anixia post Buddies, that person sneezed when they were picking.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead with the Pyramid.
I was going to say, I think that Pyramids, I guess you can even kind of call it a rework as opposed to a buff or a nerf or whatever, because it used to be that he would just give 4 health to a random minion, but now he gives a random minion 2 health, but that hero power gets better if you don't use it for a while.
It's not random anymore, right?
It's not random anymore. It's targeted.
Yes, yeah. So like you basically like I was less interested about the targeted, though that is very powerful, but more interested about the fact that like it just keeps growing now. So like if you don't use it for 3 turns, it's +5 health and then 6 and 7 and whatever. So like I don't know, that's very interesting to me. You kind of like pick and choose, and you're not punished like for not pushing the button every turn. It's also free now. It used to cost 1, now it's free.
It got buffed 3 different ways.
Yeah.
This is a huge, crazy, insane set of buffs. They moved him from the literal worst hero to the literal best hero by far in one patch. He is the only tier 1 hero right now in top 50% in HS replay. He was literally the last. And now he is the first in a league of his own. Probably overbuffed. Probably a little bit. But if you see him right now, it's fun. Take him.
Is there like a super scammy way to play him? Or is it just like +2 health for no cost every turn is good?
I think that one.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can skip a couple turns. Like if you do it, if you skip 2 turns, then it's just 0 gold plus 4 health for the rest of the game.
Mhm.
Or if you have turns where you're leveling and the other person is leveling, if you're not keeping
Okay,
any
wait. I
minions
haven't
in
actually
play,
played him. It doesn't go back to 2 after you use it?
permanent upgrade
Permanent
every
upgrade.
turn you
Oh,
do not
man.
press the button. It's it's super gross. He's
Okay,
really,
then
really good.
that becomes a little bit. I thought it was like a dynamic do I don't I situation, but no, it just okay, wow. Okay, yeah, that's gross.
He's good. He's the best hero.
I can see that now. At first I was like, but why? I mean, it's not that big a deal, but I thought it was like 2 then 3 then back to 2 and then 3 then 4 then back to 2.
Yeah. So the 3-on-3 leveling curve where you just like you sell all your stuff and level on 5
Mhm.
gold. You just when you're not pressing the button, then you just power spike, turbo level, and then all of your minions have extra health for the rest of the game.
Mm. Yeah. Dislike.
I think you'll like it once you play Pyramid.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I will like to be the one doling out this punishment, not so much the one on the receiving end.
When you get the Pyramid, we call that Pyramid. You didn't have to laugh at that. That was a terrible joke, but I
It was
appreciate it. You're a
terrible.
good friend, Jocelyn. You're a good. I forgive you being angry that I dare speak out against 25-minute games of standard. I forgive you. But we haven't said what the hell happened to Tamsin. So it used to be that at the start of combat, you would destroy your lowest health minion and give its stats to 4 friendly minions. Now, at the start of combat, you will destroy your lowest health minion and give its stats to 5 friendly minions. You might think to yourself, that's only 1 more than 4. How much better could it be? Well, we already gave away the goose. It's much more better.
All of the betters.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I haven't played with her, but like she's winning more. We see the scoreboard, so I guess it was good.
Well, it's I mean it's additive, right? It's not like you're just getting like another like a 1/1. It's whatever that minion's stats were, and now it's happening 5 times instead of 4. So it's chonky.
4 is better than 5.
Yes.
No, wait, 5 is better than 4. I did it backwards. Well,
And I agreed because I'm polite.
Listeners, email in if you think that 4 is better than 5 or vice versa. We want to hear from you.
We're gonna
I
get
want to hear
parents.
arguments on both sides.
We're gonna get parents that oh my child was so much better at 4. 5, oh they just went off the rails. Absolutely went
I
off the
was
rails.
thinking golf, but okay. If you want to really go after the children.
I was around children this weekend, so it might be on my brain as someone who doesn't spend a lot of time around children. It's a rare occasion for me. They're like aliens. I don't know how to interact with them.
Me either. Hachikumo has a Hearthstone example. 4 is better than 5 in mana cost.
That is true.
Thank you.
Legend rank?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
See,
There you go. There's plenty of examples. Diamond 4 is better than Diamond 5?
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's prices. I'd rather pay $4 than $5.
We have a sponsor today that can help you with that.
We do.
You should go to joinhoney.com/TAC. I'm sorry.
Shall we talk about
ad-free patrons?
Shall we talk about minion changes?
Yeah, there was quite a bit. Bublette used to be a 2/5, is now a 5/4.
I love Bublette
I do too. I was
much.
I was already wrecking with Bublette. Great. Terragosa is now a Tavern Tier 3 minion. You know dragons are having a bad go of it when Terragosa is moved to Tier 3.
Yeah, this is kind of like, I don't know. I feel like this is a big deal because it wasn't all that long ago that Terragosa was on Tier 3 and things were busted. Like, that was the way to play the game.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, that was pre-Naga, but still, I've seen a lot of Terragosas this week, or like, yeah, last couple days.
Let's see. I'm going to go back. Well, I can only do 7 days. So 7 days ago, they were third from the bottom. current patch, they are still third from the bottom. So
Dragons?
yes.
Hmm.
So probably shouldn't worry about it too much. And they were horrible after.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily dragons as a comp. It's just Terragosa as a comp. And then like Terragosas plus like the 2/1 that gives divine shields, the demon that spreads its health around when it dies. I can't remember any minion names because that's not what this show is.
When have we ever remembered minion names? Except when we added Ridiculous Hat to the show. That dude was really good at remembering names of things.
Not in
Still
Battlegrounds,
here.
though.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the patch notes for when they introduced Naga to see what changed about what did dragons lose, and the only thing I see is Amalgadon, which is important, because Nadina on Amalgadon was like a big deal. You still have Nightmare Amalgam, but it's a lot harder to make that poison now. So I'm trying to figure out why dragons are so much worse, and like they just don't have any kind of access to poison. And Murlocs are still really good, and pirates outscale faster, and Mantid Queen's around. So I don't know. It's interesting to see because I figured that Terragosa would have made a big dent, but just she kind of super didn't.
No. And
Well, yeah, I just think it's that she doesn't make a dent in dragons. I think she just kind of is her own comp of her own, like possibly even like Menagerie. Did Menagerie move at all? Because I would think like I would want a
Yeah.
couple of Terragosas and then, like the other during combat Buffy minions, right?
And I'm wondering if Tamsin got a lot better. Tamsin's start of combat effect. Maybe
Yeah,
boosting
is
Terragosa.
boosting
Maybe that's a big part
Terragosa,
of it.
yeah. Because there's
Yeah,
more
'cause
Terragosas now too, right? Which also comes with the lowering of the tavern tier, means there's more available.
yeah, and dragons are Tamsin's third best tribe. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah. I could certainly see that being the case. Yeah, but overall, still not doing too hot, and Naga and Ellie's are still not doing too hot. Elemental still bottom of the barrel. They didn't get any love this patch, did they?
No,
That
it was
seems
mostly
so
Naga.
strange to me. They are basically unplayable.
Well, I mean, Bublet got changed, right? Who technically is an elemental, but
Yeah, it's not an end game. It's not a comp card or comp minion.
I'm sure elementals
But
will
they're so
get the next
cute.
round of they'll get the next round of support from buffs, but they were so good in such a similar way for so long that like maybe giant numbers can take a second. Just take like 1 second. Let pirates do that for a minute because pirates have never really been this good ever.
mm-hmm.
Well, Shoal Commander also, or sorry, I'm skipping ahead. Colite Seer's back to tier 3. That didn't last long.
A little spooky.
Yeah,
I know why we're making
Murlocs
the poison tribe good.
Murlocs
Yeah.
were doing fine, and they're gonna be doing finer.
I always find it so interesting in Murlocs because you spread the poison around by your minions dying. But then, like, so if you put Cold Light Seer down lower, which would give more health to your Murlocs, then maybe your Murlocs don't die so they don't get poisonous. But they're also very big. And if they're not dying, then you're killing your opponent. So, I mean, you kind of win either way.
Yeah, and somewhere in there, you typically drop an Argus and buff up your 2 dudes that already have poison, so they kill things, then they die, then the things that don't have poisonous yet, regardless of how much health they have, end up getting poisoned because enough things died, so on and so forth. I did have that problem, though, right before my computer caught on fire. I had a Brand game where I got Brand quickly, and
so
I
you have
never
to be
found,
Murlocs then.
I found a really late, found poison
Stefan?
really, really late. Yeah, and I got so many Cold Light Seers that I think only one Murloc ended up getting poisoned, and I barely eked out 4th place. But also that was a weird game because I couldn't find Argus. I wasn't finding Argus either, so that was a weird game. I had so much fun. I so seldomly play Bran. He's so much fun. It's so much fun to just go battle cry ridiculousness. But anyway, Shoal Commander used to be a 1/2, is now a 2/2. Well, that's the buff, right? On Shoal Commander?
That's the buff, yeah.
Yeah. That's the Naga that gives a minion X for each friendly Naga until next turn. So now that's that's quite the buff.
Which Taragosa question, she keeps all buffs permanently, right? Does that include spellcrafty stuff?
Buffs during combat.
Oh, okay.
These aren't during combat. Yeah.
That would be
They're riding that
cute.
fine start a turn line.
Yeah.
Well, they're in the recruit.
Or no, wait, they're in the recruit phase. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
I'm glad that doesn't work that way because that would be gross.
Yeah. We don't need the Naga buffs to be a buff to Taragosa. I'm just glad that they reverted almost everything. They didn't revert Athissa's text. She only does 3 Nagas now instead of 4, but they put her back to the right stats. They put Critter Wrangler back. Wave Rider's a little bigger. Shoal Commander's back to 2/2. Corrupted Myrmidon is a little bigger now. Still no Siren. So, yeah. Got a support tribe.
Well, yeah, because they kind of they basically nerfed all of this Naga stuff without really, before they got rid of Siren, Naga was still really good because Siren was really good. And they were like, okay, fine, we'll just delete that. So it's like now they're taking all the stuff, they're putting all the stuff back that they took away because we still don't have Siren. So,
yeah.
I don't think it's really going to be enough, but who knows?
So far, does not appear to be.
Yeah. Are they still just
Better
above
than,
elementals?
better than demons.
Oh, better than demons.
But
It depends on the sample size you're looking at. Actually, no, it does. Yes, it does. Okay, so top 20%. So MMR of a 6,200 and above, as usual. Looking at HS replay here, Naga are doing better than demons and dragons. But if you go to 50%, which is not that far down, 5,000 MMR and above, Naga are barely above elementals. Barely.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. It was so stark at top 20% versus top 50% because that's an 1100 MMR range where the list is almost just shaken up and reordered except for the top 2 of Pirates and Murlocs and the bottom elementals. Those stay the same, but everything else is different.
Yeah. I wonder how much of that is like if you're top 20%, you're just more likely to read patch notes.
It's possible.
Yeah.
If only there was a mailbox.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, there's a mailbox in Mercenaries where the news pops up. Took me a while to remember that.
Slissa's campaign for a while was put the mailbox in BGs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, really, that makes sense because there's a lot of changes in BGs, I think, often enough to merit putting it in the game somewhere.
A little bit ago, I think it was Kyle, my buddy Kyle, was complaining that he went back to Hearthstone for a hot minute and so many pop-ups happened that he was like, okay, yeah, I'll come back to this later. And I was like, I mean, it seems like an edge case. Yeah, you're not playing, but a lot of people probably, check in a little more regularly than you. I logged into my European account the other day.
Oh, it's insane. The amount of stuff they just throw at you.
There's usually solid 4 weeks out of a season of Battlegrounds where I'm going hard on my European account. So, I use it somewhat regularly. And yeah, holy crap. I was just like, I don't care. Let me just go play my game.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it was.
If you just exit the game and come back in, do they show you all the pop-ups you hadn't gotten to see yet, or do they give up on showing you pop-ups?
I don't know. You're asking me a question like I'm a rational human being that thinks, is there a better way to do this than getting angry and clicking a bunch of times? Or you the person that told me
premeditated rage comes in again?
Aren't you the person on the show whose mouse only lasts 6 months?
That is true. Okay, hold on a second yet.
This wasn't on the show, by the way. Jocelyn last week was like, I just got a new mouse. And I'm like, didn't you just get a new mouse? And I think 6 months is a little absurd, but you
within a year for sure.
Less than a year. I don't know anyone whose shit lasts less than a year. Keyboards too. I've never in my life broken a keyboard that wasn't high school and we were recreating Office Space scenes. I've never broken a keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay,
I break them annually.
So this mouse right here, it's a
Mhm.
Logitech G900. I ordered it in 2017. But meanwhile, the user of the unironic sorry emote, a fiendish clicker lurks under the surface, breaking peripherals. The scourge of Corsairs everywhere.
I'm like literally looking around to see us, but I think they're all in a box somewhere. To like, oh no, there's a broken keyboard on the floor over there. Oh yeah, there's a broken mouse.
You have a parts graveyard, or the corpses are just strewn about your room?
Yes,
You
literally.
monster. You're like Dexter with this blood collection of people he murdered. He's got slides hidden behind the AC. But you
Yeah.
just
The
got,
television character, not the Hearthstone streamer.
yes, the fictional character from the Showtime show Dexter and the related book series, which I forget the name of the actual book. It's not Dexter.
There are
Anyway,
books?
yes, a book. Is there more than one? I only know of one, but I could be mistaken.
Anyways, yes, I do have a peripheral graveyard next to me in my office.
Send your emails about Dexter. Make it a tweet and tweet it at me because I'm pretty sure we don't want him in the Angry Chicken inbox. But I would love to talk the show Dexter with you. Let's do it.
But
And
now I
on-
have Red Dragon stuff, and that lasts longer, so yay. And I saved money with honey.
And on that note, we're going to bring the show to an end. Thank you again to our wonderful patrons, including our latest patron during the show, Stevie. Thank you, Stevie. We appreciate it. You can become an Angry Chicken patron by going to patreon.com/TAC. You'll get access to our patron-only Discord and an ad-free version of the podcast for your trouble. If you want to catch the back catalog of episodes, every episode is over at theangrychicken.com, and you can follow the show on Twitter at TAC Podcast. We're live Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I don't know why I forgot this. It's written down in front of me. Over on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Around the table. Before we go, Joce, where can folks find you when you're not murdering computer peripherals?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joce Plays. That's JOCE Plays. Or check out my general gaming podcast called The Gamers In. We're talking about all kinds of cool stuff right now with all the announcements coming out of all the major companies. So again, go check out The Gamers In.
Ridiculous Hat, what about you?
Twitter, usually. That's the hub of my content, twitter.com/ridiculoushat. But I do 2 other Hearthstone podcasts. Coin Concede, we make the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. And then Vicious Syndicate, a data-driven look at the standard metagame. I finished editing and posting that podcast 7 minutes before this one. So if you want some up-to-the-minute information that was up to the minute yesterday, then you can go listen to that. But if you're listening to this one, hey, glad you made it through the show.
I'll ask you afterwards. It's pointless. We don't need to. Yeah. Garrett Art on Twitter.
Garrett, where can people find you?
I was getting there. Garrett Art on Twitter. AMove.tv for this podcast and every single other one that I produce. YouTube.com/AMoveTV for my YouTube channel. Currently playing through Final Fantasy XIV. Just finished up 4.0 Stormblood. Pressing forward into the MSQ. New videos every Wednesday morning and streams every Monday and Thursday. And Let's Talk About Star Wars is back until Obi-Wan wraps this Wednesday. I can't wait for that 90-minute finale. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been enjoying it. New episodes of Let's Talk About Star Wars coming at you. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Remember, conceding is not rage. It is not equal. It is not what it equals to. Conceding is not a crime. And until next time, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
That's a show.
Hooray.
I don't know why I was ducking for you, but everything came over for me just fine, so you don't need to worry about it, Hat.
Cool. I have the bumpers anyways. But yeah, it was ducking through the Discord audio when you played the bumpers. But
Mhm.
your regular voice was fine, so
Yes, that's what I took from your message. Yes. I'm just saying that the bumpers were perfectly fine over here. I don't know.
I'll take it.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Shit has changed. Don't know why shit has changed, but shit has changed.
Yeah.
I don't know why my video is messing up with my lights behind me either. It was driving me crazy, so I turned them off.
Technology.
Yeah. Go
Yay.
computers.
Adventure. Went to Best Buy in person and bought a hard drive. I haven't done that in a really long time.
It's the only time I'm at Best Buy, usually some bad shit's gone down because I'm there an hour before closing, frantically buying a PC part that I hope will fix my troubles. It's happened
Usually it's something
a
fun.
bunch of times.
I've decided I really want to play a game that I didn't think to order and I want it now. And that's usually why I'm at Best Buy. Usually it's a fun reason, but it was not a fun reason this time. I'm just trying to think the last time I went to the computer section of Best Buy.
That's a good question.
I think it
Do
was.
laptops count?
I think I went to scope out a laptop before I bought my laptop, which was end of 2020. So it wasn't that long ago in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, boy, am I glad I bought that too, by the way, because I had a buddy hit me up. They were like, hey, what laptop do you have? What should I go get? And I went to go look it up, and it's like $600 more than I spent for an equally spec'd laptop. It's like, Jesus Christ. Crypto has crashed. Please give us our video cards back. Go away.
They're coming. They're coming. They're easier to find as of now, or at least recently.
Prices are still absurd.
Yeah.
At least you can find them, I guess. But and now I have the new
Indeed.
version of Premiere on my computer because I wiped, and oh my god, it's terrible.
Can you do the older version thing, or is it like how far back were you?
I think I was only a version. I know. I think there's been an update to this new version, but they've changed the beginning and the end process. They have a whole new screen for new project and a whole new screen for export. And I fucking hate it. It's like
Sounds
they're
awful.
trying to be more user friendly, but it's like, hi, I've been using your product for 10 years. It's been the same for 10 years and you changed it and I don't know how to do anything anymore. So thanks. But if I like bypass, if I do like 4 different things at the end, I can still find the old screen. So I'm like, well, it's there and it works fine, but I can't find an option that just bypasses the new export thing and brings me the old export option. So I don't know. It's
You'd
like,
think there'd be something somewhere, but maybe there isn't.
probably is. And I just am not finding it. Because on Photoshop, they have a bunch of, they call them legacy options that just revert everything to the way it's always been. But good old Adobe. Fixing shit that ain't broken.
The bug that is driving me crazy in the current version of Audition is that Control Tab doesn't work anymore to switch windows, and that it's I forget every single time.
You just reminded me of the other thing I forgot I am really mad about in freaking Premiere. There used to be a top bar where you could move between workspaces, and they've just removed it. It's gone. It's not there, and there's
Can't add
no
back
way to
in?
get it back. There's
What
no
the
way to
fuck?
get it back. It's just gone.
Wait, but why? I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter to Mr. Adobe.
Yeah, it's terrible because I used it all the freaking time. I've since remapped to hotkeys to switch editing workspaces, but it's not as convenient. It's just like I don't like. It's so seldom I use things like Essential Graphics. So like when I do, I don't remember what the shit number I assigned it to. So Adobe's getting weird this year. They're like Skypeifying their shit.
That worked out pretty well for Skype, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're totally the industry standard and we're not usurped by multiple other services.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a boomer, Sparky. I am.
Imagine being so far ahead of the market that you were the verb for how you interacted with other people in your medium, and now you're probably going to be absorbed into Microsoft Teams. How sad of a plot arc is that?
And it's not because you came up with something superior that made it obsolete, right? Like, because like the iPhone just bodied the iPod.
Yeah. Nope. I mean, other companies did it. Like, they just took apps that people were already using and said, hey, do you want also best in class video? And not a piece of shit video chat app that changes your volume settings whether you want it to or not.
It's fun. I'm moving my WAV file over to you now.
Cool.
By the way, we didn't have a single issue with the upload to Twitch this episode.
Yeah, no, everything was smooth.
It stayed over 6,000 kilobits per second the entire time.
And nothing with us either.
Yeah.
Like
other than ducking, but I'm pretty sure that's a Discord thing that I'm unaware of.
Yeah, no, that wasn't bandwidth. Like, there was no way that was bandwidth.
Yeah.
So, like, your bandwidth with us and with the stream was just good.
Yeah, I don't know. I did make sure it was set to Atlanta, not Miami, because I still am suspicious it was Miami. So I wonder if it reverted to Miami at some point. But I'm using the Atlanta server, and it's been fine.
And I assume your YouTube stream today went fine too.
I don't
Well,
host the
Kyle
YouTube
runs
stream.
that, I guess.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Yes. No. Thursday's stream went great as well, though, and that was post the Windows wipe, but I wasn't really having issues on Thursday. And that's not true. I did have intermittent issues on Thursday, but Monday was, like, guaranteed. Which was just always strange. I don't know.
It's a holiday. I don't know.
Today's a holiday?
Today is the observation of Juneteenth in the United States. So it is a federal holiday.
Ah.
Yeah.
I don't notice
So, yeah.
unless Katie gets the day off from work, and Katie did not get the day off from work.
Well, there you go. We were slightly busier at the theater today. For Top Gun, and specifically not Lightyear.
Specifically not Lightyear?
Lightyear, Disney made a mistake with that movie of making a movie with no targeted demographic. Because if you're targeting a Toy Story movie at people that grew up watching Toy Story, you should probably release it close to Toy Story and not 25 years later or whatever. So the movie has no target demographic because it's being marketed as either a serious movie that is also animated and set in the Toy Story universe, or a kids movie that's kind of heavy. And it's being marketed directly towards young fathers to bring their sons, but their sons didn't grow up on Toy Story, so you had to really like Toy Story and also have a boy child.
It's been 3 and 4, and I see kids with, like, wearing Toy Story 4. That spoon thing is popular. I see that all over the place.
Yeah. What year did that come out?
I haven't seen Toy Story 4, by the way. So,
Yeah.
I liked it.
I've seen
I heard
every
it was
Toy
good,
Story
but,
except
like,
Toy Story 4. I just
like
thought
the
3...
Toy Story sequels, we'll watch them because we grew up with that, right? But like Toy Story 3 was 2010. That was 12 years ago.
Yeah. 3 was such a good ending that's why I didn't watch 4, because I'm like, I saw the ending. It was beautiful. It made me cry. I'm good.
Toy Story 1 was 1995. So, like...
Yeah, I know. I had the game for my Sega Genesis, which nothing dates. Which I've been thinking about a lot because I've been playing Shredder's Revenge, and that was the last time I played a Ninja Turtles beat 'em up.
Oh, that game is so good.
It's fucking great.
I got a notification on my phone that popped up that was like this suspicious activity or whatever on your account. And so while I'm at the spa with my best friend, I had to call my husband. Did you buy Ninja Turtles? Yeah, I bought Ninja Turtles.
Did you play it, Joce?
I haven't played it, no.
Did you grow up playing beat 'em ups?
No.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever play Turtles in Time?
No.
Oh.
Well, you're even more the perfect age for it. Like, I'm surprised.
Hey, I'm not saying the game is bad. I just thought it was funny that, like, me doing grown-up things had to call my grown-up husband and ask him if he bought Ninja Turtles in front of a whole bunch of other grown-ups doing grown-up things.
Does your husband know that it's included with Game Pass? Because I know shit.
Nintendo, because that's where his, I think, stepbrother and somebody else were playing.
It is it feels like it's made for the Switch. Like, it is a very Switch-friendly game. But the fact that it was, all I had to do was
it might have been Sparky, actually. Might have been Kirk and Sparky.
Yeah, it just felt like the fact that the only thing I needed to do was click yes, give me this was nice.
Mm.
I was 5 minutes away from buying it. And I saw someone on Twitter be like, hey, like make some comment about how it's on Game Pass. I'm like, holy shit. I am so glad I saw this tweet.
Yeah, I need to remember. Like, I have so many returns on my Steam account from the past year because I just am so used to buying things on Steam. And then, like, I'll open the Xbox and I'm like, damn it! Return on Steam and get free on Xbox.
I almost did the same thing with Jurassic World Evolution 2. I was like getting in the mood for it. Finally, because I didn't buy it when it first came out, even though I loved the first game, but I just didn't have time. And like a month ago, I was like, all right, I really want to play this freaking game. And I was about to buy it, and it had just come to Game Pass. So
yeah, I have that on Steam, and yeah, because it wasn't when I got it like day one. But yeah, now I wish I knew. I wish I paid more attention because Game Pass has so much crap.
Well,
I don't know how Game Pass can exist. It seems just like way too good to be true all the time.
It's because Microsoft. That's why it exists.
I worry
they have all kinds of money. The Xbox is just their throwaway like pet project. Like
I worry that it's the early days of Netflix, and soon they'll just it won't be as good because there'll be enough competition, and they'll lose the narrative.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
for right now, I'm really
in my
enjoying
industry, the thing that ended in Pass was called Movie Pass, and that was a wild ride.
Hat, can you explain to me why a movie where they went out of their way to strap IMAX cameras to actual jets only was in IMAX for 2 weeks, and a movie that doesn't even have any IMAX scenes and is a piece of shit and is a sixth movie in a franchise called Jurassic something is in IMAX instead? Can make it make sense.
Let's see. Because I believe Top Gun is Paramount. Let's see here. Yep. Paramount's a studio that doesn't have a lot of clout anymore. They have one thing and one thing only, which is Tom Cruise movies. So they were able to get a 2-week lock on the IMAX, which is pretty good for Memorial Day weekend. But then they had to get out of the way for Universal because Universal makes Jurassic World, Fast and Furious. And a lot of those screens only lasted 1 week for Lightyear, which has turned out to be the worst of the three. PLF screens, premium large format, really, really hotly contested. So Top Gun had a deal through Paramount where they got 2 weeks in the IMAX, and then they got shifted over to either Dolby screens or ETX or Prime screens, other premium large formats.
IMAX is special. It's special.
It is.
You shouldn't be able to use those theaters if you didn't shoot in IMAX. I haven't gone to a theater to see shit in IMAX since Dark Knight. That was the last time. I'm all excited for this. I get COVID. COVID finally gets over, and I'm no shit. I was 1 day late. I tested negative on Friday, and that was the Friday Jurassic World Fallen Who Gives a Shit came out, and I couldn't find it anywhere. Listen, I'm going to see it. I'm going to see that piece of garbage, and I'm probably going to actually enjoy myself, but it doesn't belong on an IMAX screen.
I agree with you. Top Gun would be making money right now, but the summer, there are 2 different kind of windows you get in an IMAX screen. Either you get a 2-week lock, or you're Disney, and then you do what you want, and everybody else gets out of the way. But no Disney here, so it's 2-week lock. But Lightyear, which
I knew that that Top Gun was Paramount because the really big amusement park in Canada, Canada's Wonderland, used to be Paramount Canada's Wonderland, and they had a ride called Top Gun, and your feet like dangle out the bottom. It has no bottom on the roller coaster,
just
thingies,
like
and
a jet.
It whips you, yeah, but it whips you all around like you're flying in a jet. And then they had to rename it because Paramount sold Wonderland to try to get some money back. And yeah, so it's not Paramount Canada's Wonderland anymore. So all the movie rides and all of the Paramount properties had to leave the park, and it was really sad.
That does sound sad.
So now it's called like Flight Zone or something stupid. And because they used to have, because it was owned by Paramount, they had like all of the like movie prop costumes and stuff in the lineup while you were going through, and it was really cool.
I really like Top Gun too. That was one of the, like, my dad, not a big movie guy, and Top Gun was one of those movies that just, if it was on, that's what we're now doing with our day growing up.
Yeah.
So I have a real soft spot for it. That's awesome. I don't give a shit about the ride. I would have loved to have gone through the line and seen the props. Although the ride actually does sound
really
pretty
good
cool.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Well,
always
Paramount.
I have a pretty big rant, so I'm gonna defer to you, Hat.
Okay. Paramount. When I started with the company that I work at, they were the biggest studio. They were number 1 out of the big 6. I believe they are now number 6 because they sold the rights to Marvel because their products were not performing as well in the late 2000s. But if I recall, Iron Man 1, I believe Iron Man 1 was a Paramount film. And they ended up selling the rights to Marvel to Disney. Didn't go super well.
Well, it went super well for Disney.
It did, yes.
Listen, there's two
Not
sides to
super
that
well for
story.
Paramount, yeah.
Yeah.
And one thinks the polar opposite of that statement. Yeah.
Yeah. So the acquisition was in 2010. Disney bought all of the Marvel stuff from Paramount. And things are very different now. You have a rant, Garrett.
Oh, shit. What was it? Oh, I was gonna say I have a weird grumpiness about branded IP roller coasters. I don't get the point. It's a roller coaster. It's not like a theme ride. It's not a dark ride where like there's animatronics or screens that show you stuff from the thing that's themed that you went on. I don't. So I've just never gotten excited because a roller coaster's branded after something I know. I'm just because like I like roller coasters enough as it is. So I'm like, just name it the spine imploder. Like it doesn't matter. Just it'll get a reputation. If it's good, it'll
not
get
in
a
marketing.
Well, now they do get named stuff like that. So now, like I think one of the ones they put in recently was like the Behemoth, and it was like the biggest one in North America or something like that.
Yeah, well, like I think like here we have Busch Gardens, and it's just like African names because it's an African themed park. Like they just have like Gwazi and Montu. Actually, is Gwazi still a thing? I think they tore Gwazi down. Shit, I haven't been to Busch Gardens in a long
Poor
time.
Gwazi.
But yeah, it's like they don't have like the Superman coasters. Like, well, what's Superman about it? It's painted blue. Okay, who gives a shit? Why did you bother paying for the IP? Like, I don't know. I've really weird grumpiness, but I've just never understood IP roller coasters.
It's probably just it's just a marketing tool, right? It's just to grab your attention. Like if you may not be paying attention to TV, and then they say we have a Superman thing. You go, what? I love Superman. What is their Superman thing? What is happening? Where am I?
Also, children tend to be pretty devoted fans, and brand recognition goes a long way there.
Yeah. Children, very devoted fans of Top Gun.
So I just went to the Canada's Wonderland website because I wanted to see what the other coasters were called. And there's a thrill level you can like do filter the rides by, and it says low, mild, moderate, high, and aggressive. We have aggressively thrilling rides.
I got excited. I thought you were gonna tell me there was a level that said firm.
As aggressive thrills are when I have Slither Spear into Doggy Biscuit. That's a very aggressive thrill.
All right, I'm on Canada's Wonderland. Boy, it's just a maple leaf. Wow, they just really they did not try on this logo.
So there's Behemoth. Oh, Flight Deck. That's what the Top Gun ride is called now.
I thought you were gonna tell me that they've renamed it to Unsafe Location.
Leviathan. That's that's
zone?
another big one. Minimum height 54 feet? No, inches. I don't know.
Oh, there's like
Why
legitimate.
are these in American?
There's legitimately a roller coaster at Canada's Wonderland called Backlot Stunt Coaster, which is the most like Dr.
That
Thunder.
used to be the Italian job.
That's what's why I'm laughing about this. Is Backlot Stunt Coaster sounds like the RC Cola of movie themed rides. You see the Italian job. That's why they look like Mini Coopers.
Yes.
No way. Yep. We should do a podcast
100%.
just live streaming this website. We just live stream this website and try and figure out which movie did this used to be.
Oh my God. This is our version of Great Night. I hope everybody enjoys. Yeah, Behemoth. Like Behemoth, that's a great roller coaster name. It doesn't need. You don't need to name it Journey to Krypton. Like I don't care. It's a roller coaster. Is it good? I'll go on it. Do I hear people screaming like they're dying as I walk past? I'm interested. You have my attention. Yeah.
Ooh, the Yukon Striker. That's a new one.
I like that. Joce, by the way, I feel the need to tell you this, and it's not meant to be a dunk. I started cackling like a madman at the end of Formula One this week when they went to the podium and there were two Mounties just randomly off to the side.
Why?
It just caught me off guard.
Was it in Canada? Was it what?
Yes, it was in Montreal.
Oh, okay.
F1 was in your country this past week.
Those are our police. What's the problem?
They're just... You have a cartoon. There's a cartoon called Dudley Do-Right. And it looks absurd. And when you don't grow up in Canada, and that is your only idea of what a Mountie looks like you're just like, it's a joke, right? Like, this has got to be like the guards in England where it's really more touristy than it really is guards. Although I bet those guards would mess you up.
Really, our police force.
I am aware of that now. But like as a kid with very little exposure to that, you're like, oh, it's a cartoon. The guy's costume is utterly absurd. There's no way it's real, right? So like when I'm not used to seeing it and there's just these two dudes that look like they're dressed up like cartoon characters. I was just wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared for the Mountie uniform.
Garamus in chat room is right. There also used to be a Days of Thunder ride. It was one of the ones that you sit in, and so I had literally never seen the movie. I just freaking loved that ride because it felt like you were actually like driving the car and like downshifting and like, and I just loved it. I used to like just loop around that thing and just like get off it and line up for it again.
Now I'm frantically Googling Days of Thunder ride. There's actually like no photos of this damn thing.
Paramount had Tom Cruise. That's what they had. It was a Tom Cruise racing movie.
I've also never seen Days of Thunder. So.
Oh, yeah. No, I'd never seen it. I didn't care to see it. I just loved the ride.
That. It's older.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like old NASCAR though, because like I have a very close cousin. Like growing up, his dad, my uncle, was super into NASCAR, and so we'd go over to the house, and it was just NASCAR shit everywhere. And of course, he grew up during like 60s, 70s NASCAR, and so it was just. And they're currently leaving 80s, and it was the 90s because that's when I was a kid. So like I do have a weird amount of nostalgia just for how it looked. Which it looked like how cigarettes smell. That's what old NASCAR looks like. But God, this is funny. Yeah, I'm just going through. Dude, Canada's Wonderland looks like a rockin' ass park. I would go. Oh yeah,
it's a great park. I used to when I was probably from about the time I was 12 to the time I was about 18. I had seasons passes, and my mom would just be like, "Wonderland is your babysitter now."
That was Busch Gardens for us. And of course we were awkward teens, so Katie and I'd be out there as like in head to toe in our all black like hot topic bullshit, like dead heat of summer. Hanging out
in Florida.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Vortex, you had your feet hanging. And the Vortex actually goes over water. So like you whoosh down with your feet hanging right close to the water. It's really cool.
Yeah, Mont 2 at Busch Gardens is a hanging coaster. It's the first one I ever went on. I think they got rid of the hanging coaster at Universal. I think that's what they tore down for the Hagrid roller coaster, which sucks because I loved Dueling Dragons. Could be wrong. It's been a while.
Don't your feet hang on Vortex? I thought your feet did hang. I thought there was more than just Top Gun.
I don't know. I haven't been there. I can't help you.
It's been so long since I've been to Wonderland. I think the last time I went to Wonderland was for the Halloween haunt.
Oh man, I haven't been to a horror event at a theme park in a very long time.
And I think they've built 3 or 4 like major roller coasters since the last time I was there.
Is this
which Halloween haunt did you go to? Is this annual or?
Yeah, they do it every year. Yeah, but it was like.
Is it near Toronto?
Yeah, it's actually very, very close to where we got married.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like it's on that same highway, like 1 or 2 exits north.
I'll have to plan a
from where
visit
you
at
stayed.
sometime. We can trade parks. You can come visit us. We'll go to all the Orlando shit again, and then we'll come to you, preferably when it's not a tundra. And
Yes. Turns out Wonderland's not open when it's winter.
I was about to ask. I was like, I have a
no.
strong feeling that if you're a mostly outdoor park, I can't imagine it being very fun being on a roller coaster when
No, Halloween's the end. Like they do the haunt and then like
hey, bye everybody. Yeah, no, nobody wants wind chill on top of wind chill.
yes.
Well, and they're like it looks like half water park. So like
There is a big water park. It's like, yeah. There's a big water park in the back.
Floridians know what I'm
water
going to
parks
say.
will continue.
Also, like Busch
It's called
Gardens.
Splashworks.
Yes. Okay, question that's related more to the topic of this than the specific. Are water parks ever going to be a thing again? Seems like a bunch of shared communal water in the current climate is like kind of sketchy.
No one will be surprised when I say they're doing just fine in Florida.
Mm,
Doing just fine.
yeah.
Just fine. It's personal comfort, man, at this point. People gonna do what people gonna do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wonderland.
It was a big
Thumbs
deal.
up for roller coasters.
It was a big deal locally because Busch Gardens Water Park, which is Adventure Island, I believe now, recently heated their shit for the first time ever. They finally have like heated pools and slides and shit, which is completely unnecessary this time of the year. But, you know, for the 3 months out of the year, it's kind of chilly.
Minimum height to ride. I thought that meant like minimum height of the roller coaster. Like, why do I care how close to the ground it is? Wonderland? That's a stupid way to measure your roller coaster.
Also, if you've never seen Jocelyn in real life, I'm not sure she's ever cared about minimum height to ride.
No, I have not. Like, literally since I was 12, there was no roller coaster I couldn't go on. It was not a problem.
So, by the way, I instantly understood what they were getting at here. Very quickly figured it out.
I missed it.
It's because I was trying to explain, like in my head, I was looking for stats that could help me explain that Canada has real roller coasters. So I was looking for like height, experience, size.
The minimum height is
and I was like 54 inches. What?
Yeah, if you're under 4.5 feet, you can't get in the ride. You have to.
I guess
So
that makes sense.
it's more of an age thing than a height thing.
Yeah.
But it can correlate. in
Also,
different
sometimes I'm really dumb.
I think I hit 6 foot when I was 12. I had a big ass growth spurt.
That sounds nice. How was that? How'd that go?
Let me tell you about this thing called growing pains. I distinctly remember thinking I was dying.
Want to trade? I have a growing pain. It's called trying to stand on something to reach the top shelf. It's a pain.
Let me tell you about how many times I've hit my head on things.
Mm. It is convenient for me on airplanes. I can stand up before we get off the plane in like full stand.
Yeah, see when I do this. This is what I do when I stand on the airplane.
It makes my neck hurt.
Cock
You're
your
gonna
head to the
undo
side like this.
Joce's spa massage if you keep doing that on camera.
Oh, it's just as fun.
Okay. I got some stats now, some behemoth stats. It goes up to 230 feet, which I find it funny that they measure things in feet and kilometers. But anyways, goes
That has
up
always bothered me. Don't you also do
230 feet? Huh?
Do you do miles per hour? No, you do kilometers.
No. Kilometers per hour. Yeah. So yeah, it goes up 230 feet and then reaches speeds of 125 kilometers per hour in 3.9 seconds.
Kilometers are more than miles.
That would be
per
like
hour?
80 miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kilometers are they're
I do-
smaller
Smaller
units, so
than
you have
miles,
more of
yeah.
them.
I do
Yes.
more than that on accident, overtaking on the highway.
Yeah, but you have a windshield and a car around you.
That is fair. Yes, that is fair. That's very true. There's a reason I still ride test
There's
track.
not 125 kilometers in your face.
There's a reason I still ride test track, despite the fact that I've been on a real racetrack. Test track is still fun as shit.
Oh, Leviathan is 306. I haven't gotten there because I've never ridden the Leviathan or the Yukon one. So I was looking for the one I had been on, but 306, that's too many feet. That's too many feet.
All I'm hearing is that apparently in Canada Land in Epcot, which doesn't really have a ride, it has a theater where they just play a short film
Tell you
about how beautiful Canada is. They don't have a real ride, so they should just add some horribly intense roller coaster and just be like, this is a realistic Canadian experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that where you got asked if you look Canadian, Garrett? Were you in Canada Land? That would explain a lot.
I do
Well,
get
yeah,
routine.
you know,
watching the
anytime
beautiful
Canadians
Canada.
visit anywhere, we have to just be in Canada Land. It's the only place we're comfortable.
I don't know.
I
You go to the
We
syrup
can't
section at the
actually
grocery
leave
store.
Canada.
this last time we went up was the first time, I want to say, of God knows how many repeat visits to Orlando where I didn't meet someone vacationing from Canada in the hotel hot tub. It's constant.
Isn't the official roller coaster of Canada a log ride? I don't know. Do we have an official roller coaster of Canada?
Official roller coasters are a thing?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, Kajitar, 100%. Yeah, there's so many Canadian snowbirds in Florida during the winter.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Almost every
People that
time
live
I
in
go,
cold
what the
places
f
like
is
coming
wrong
to
with this
warm
person? I look down at the plate and it says Ontario.
Aww.
They love driving 10 under and not knowing where they want to turn. They love it. It's okay,
Well,
though.
it's because everyone who comes from Ontario down to Florida is old. They don't know how to drive, period. They're not
Yeah.
representative of Ontarians. They're just representative of a certain age group that maybe should have had their license taken away 5 years ago.
Listen, they're in lane and they stop at stoplights, which is the bare minimum I can ask. I was recently damn near T-boned. So, my standards for what makes me happy to see on the road have dropped.
Have changed.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's okay. The other 50% is Massachusetts. That's the other plate that
Hey.
typically.
Hey, I'm from there. And just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it.
New York is a 50-50. They're either going to be going slow or speeding so recklessly I'm uncomfortable.
It's most of the roads you want to be on. There's too many cars to speed.
So they get down here
Yeah.
and they're just really excited that they have the room to speed. Is that what you're saying?
Seems likely. Yeah.
I have one more Massachusetts funny bit, which was the shortest job I ever held was working at a Target. I hated it, which is why it was the shortest job I ever held. But I think it was like my third week working there. Snowbird season had just begun, so it was still a little warm out. And this dude I can see him coming. I'm restocking like the lotion and that like skincare aisle. I can see this guy coming and he is glowing red, his skin. Like just the worst sunburn I've ever looked upon in my life. And with the thickest Boston accent I've ever heard, he asked me where the aloe was. And I was like, yeah, you just got here and it might be your first time. It was like a bit from a comedy show. That had to suck. I have fallen asleep in the sun before. It is not good.
I've fallen asleep in the sun in Florida before, and I died. Like literally died.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it was like 2009, so it was before I knew you. Went down to Fort Myers with friends because
that is
yeah.
very close to where I live.
Yeah. And yeah, so I fell asleep on the beach. Nobody like woke me up or anything. I slept for like 2 hours because I had heat stroke, which is what made me fall asleep. And I was just like, I could barely ride the plane home. Like 5 days later, I was burnt so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to some birthday party and it was boring. So I was just hanging out on the beach and I was up all night slamming Halo with my buddies. This was high school. So I just fell asleep and I fell asleep on my stomach. So the back of my legs got burned. I couldn't pivot my legs for 3 days. It hurt so bad. Like I just laid in bed straight legged. It was so terrible. It is among the worst pain I've experienced.
Yeah.
Right up
I
there
get
with,
heat stroke every time I go to Florida, actually.
Yeah, I remember going and meeting you at Universal.
Craycon.
Well, you
I
did
got it too.
Universal the day after our wedding, and we went up and met you. And by the time we got there, you looked like you were on death's door.
Yep.
You rallied. You were fine once you got in the shade and we got some water in you. But my God, we got there and I was like, "Is Joce okay?" And you're like, "No, no, I'm not." Yeah, I thought you were fine at CreateCon. I remember you keeping up just fine.
It was so I think we went and did a theme park. I can't remember which one. Like 2 days before CreateCon, and then so the day before, so then I think the day before, I spent mostly in the hotel room, and then I was okay by the actual day. But
okay, huh? Yeah, I was about to say.
No, you don't need to go to the beach. And it's like in Florida, it's funny because it's like I even try to stay out of the sun, but like, well, I mean, obviously I'm fucking see-through, so there's that. But like I try to stay out of the sun as much as I can. But like even up here in Canada, like we went camping a couple of years ago, and like even Canadian sun, which is not as intense as near the equator Florida sun, like I was sunscreened in the shade, and like the only thing that put me in the sun is like the breeze would move the leaves and the sun would get through to me. And like I got heat stroke in Canada. Like I should not be outside. I'm actually a vampire.
Turns out, yeah. So Joce, there's this great game. You should play it. I believe it gets to the core of your life struggles. It's called V Rising. And I think you'd really identify with it.
Yeah, like literally.
Joce, do you hiss when you walk outside in the morning?
I don't know what you're talking about, Garrett.
No, that's me.
Who goes outside in the morning?
I have to walk
I go
with the train.
outside when it's like this, gestures at the darkness.
Joce is like the friggin' vampires in Nightmare Before Christmas. She just pops the world's tiniest little umbrella when the sun comes up, and then puts her arm in front of her face and slinks away.
Yeah, see, Matt's in the chat room. He knows. Joce, walk outside in the morning? What?
It's a beautiful day. Joce in the corner.
Oh, God, yeah. When I have to drive to work, I'm like, sunglasses, giant hat. Like,
you look like a celebrity trying to not be noticed.
Go to the office. Yeah.
This woman is clearly a celebrity. She doesn't want to be noticed. She's too covered up.
Oh, man. Well, I need to go because my Warcraft team is waiting for me to heal. So I need to go and
I didn't know people still played that game.
Out.
I apologize. Chat,
only because that's where my friends are, not because it's a good game. Don't get into it, guys.
All right, folks. We're going to bring the stream down. Hope you enjoyed this after show. Bye now.